Well, friends, I am Dr. M. Jairaj. I have been imparting verbal aptitude in this reputed institute for a couple of years. Now I'm here through civil engineering afternoon session. While going through the paper, you might have had a lot of doubts. Now I'm here to clarify, to expound, to illustrate those questions which you might have had ounce of doubts. So students, now I'll go through all the questions, and while I'm going through the questions, try to check, recheck and see whether the answer that you have given is right or wrong. Well students, now we'll go step by step. This is the afternoon session paper. So as you go through the paper, I'll try to throw significant light on them, and you can just go through them and see. So here we go step by step and check one of the questions that appeared in the gate. So this is the new content that is being given to our students. So there are some additions and there are some deletions. So this is the verbal aptitude content, and this is one of the questions that appeared in the afternoon session. So let us see where this question has appeared, from which content that the question has been given to us. So look at this question, students. Which of the above sentences are grammatically correct? Now you see that one of the questions is grammatically correct. Right, students. Now you see the question here, that is one of the questions has been raised is the grammar section, grammatically correct. So if you can go through this one and see. Here we go, students. Now, so where this question has appeared to us from, so let us go back to the content and see. So, yeah. So grammatically correct sentence, students. Grammatically correct. So this question has been taken from the chapter verb-noun agreement. You see that? Verb-noun agreement. Verb-noun agreement. I have already taught this chapter in the class, students. So students who have attended, definitely they have cut a good figure and they might have attempted it very well. So the question has appeared from the verb-noun agreement, or we call it as a subject-verb concordance, subject-verb agreement. Here we go. So grammatically correct. So let us check, students, like what is the subject-verb agreement? We call it as like subject-verb agreement. Subject plus verb agreement. So generally, if the subject is singular, the verb also should be singular, students. And if the subject is plural, the verb also should be plural. This is the concept that we have. So what is the subject and verb here? Let us see. This question has been taken from the other chapter also, students. Like mainly this is subject and verb agreement. But if you go through another chapter, see other parts of speech. What could be the other parts of speeches? It can be noun, it can be pronoun, it can be verb, it can be adverb, because other parts of speech already have been given, for example, adjectives, prepositions, conjunctions. So when you say other parts of speech, so this question is a portion of a pronoun chapter also. This has appeared from the chapter pronoun. Why it is pronoun? I'll try to throw significant light on these one, students. Here we go. Come on, let us see now. So you see here, we have Arun singular, joined by and Aparna is singular, is equal to what? Singular plus singular is equal to, is it going to be singular? Singular plus singular, is it going to be plural now? One of the rules of the pronouns subject verb agreement says when two or more singular nouns joined by and. You see here, when two or more singular nouns joined by and, the pronoun that refers to should be and must be plural. We don't have any other pronoun here now. So the simple calculation is singular plus singular is equal to plural. Singular plus singular is equal to plural, students, now. So what is the verb that we have? So the whole portion is, I termed it as a subject here. And this is the verb here now. Now the verb, is it singular or plural now? So R is plural. How do we know R is plural, students? For example, if you happen to look into B forms of the verbs, you have something like is, am, are, was, were, been. If you categorize singular and plural, what are all singular, students? Like suppose if you say singular verbs, and suppose if I take plural verbs, you see here. So is, am, was, they're all singular, and plural is are, were. You see, plural. So therefore, singular plus singular is equal to plural, and the verb are is plural. So there is subject verb concordance and there is subject verb agreement. So therefore, grammatically this option is right, students. So that option is right. Shall we go with the second option? Check and see. Now similarly, Arun is singular, joined by and. Aparna is singular. So singular plus singular, it should be plural. And what do we have here now? Singular verb now. So is it matching, students, like plural and singular? No, it doesn't match. So therefore you have to eliminate this option. Right? We'll go with the third option and see. Arun's family is here. We'll go with the third one and see. Arun's families is here. No doubt this chapter comes from the noun. So in this itself, there are a lot of what we call it as, students, like the chapter comes from noun. One of the kinds of nouns is possessive nouns, we call it as. So one of the chapters is what we call it as the nouns, when we divide them into common noun, proper noun, possessive nouns. So you find from that chapter this question has been taken. So apostrophe S. So Arun is only one person. Apostrophe S indicates something is pertaining to somebody, something is belonging to somebody, students, now. So Arun's families is here. Now when you say Arun's families, we have to take it into consideration full, students, like. So because he has given the word families, maybe Arun might be having one family, two family, three families, we don't know. So Arun's families is plural, but your verb also should be plural, students. But what do we have here now? Singular. So therefore this option also is wrong. Now let us see now Arun's. When you give apostrophe S, which means that is belonging to Arun, that is pertaining to Arun, students. So Arun's family is here. Now you see here now Arun's family. Now family is singular, families is plural. So this is singular and your verb also is singular. So singular plus singular has to match. So it is again here, it is matching, students, now. So therefore this also is right. Arun's family is here now. Now what are all the options right? Given options are right, students. 1 and 4. Where do we have 1 and 4? 1 and 4, you see here, D. 1 and 4 options are absolutely right. And other given options are wrong, students. I suppose you have understood this simple grammatical query, students, like. Well, it's very easy. So a couple of chapters are involved into this one. One is pronoun chapter. The other one is the apostrophe, that is possessive noun, possessive case we say. Then again the subject verb agreement. So 2-3 chapters have been confined, students. So I believe that all of you might have answered this question, students. So check and see whether the given answer that what you have given is right or wrong. I suppose all of them might have attempted it, students. Very good. So shall we go with the next question here now? Come on, let us see. Very good. Right, students, we have one more question. This is a small passage. Let us look at the question, what the question is first of all, and where this question has been taken. Here we go. Based on the above passage, which one of the following is true? Now you see here now, this is based on the passage, a small passage has been given to us. Now the question is, what is true of the given passage? So where this question has been taken. So here we go. Now, if you go, students, you see here, there is what we call it as reading and comprehension. Now, the question has been taken from here. Something is true to the given passage. This is a new content that is being given to us, students. Earlier, we had a chapter called critical reasoning, and that they have replaced with reading and comprehension. And sometimes that passage can also involve this little bit of analogical, because that passage sometimes is based on reasoning. So it can be sometimes deductions, some kind of deducing something given from the passage. But anyway, the question has been taken from here, reading and comprehension. So what type of questions can arise from this given content, students? Questions like, what is the main idea of the passage? What is the gist of the passage? Adumbrate of the passage. What is the best inference? What is the tone of the passage? Author discussed all except. So, some of the questions can be raised from what is true to the given passage. So, these are the questions that can pertain to reading and comprehension. So, this question has been taken from the reading and comprehension. So let us go through the passage, students, which one is true. That is what our main concern is. Right, students? So here are the given options. Let us go one by one and check and see what is true to the given passage now. So let us go through the passage and see, students, which one of the following is true. So that is our main focus. Which one of the following is true? So that is our concern here. Now, come on, let us see now. The author said, musicians rehearse before their concerts. Concerts means some kind of what we call it as music or plays. So the author said, musicians rehearse before their concerts. Even sports players and all, they have some kind of rehearsal before any event that takes place. Similarly, second sentence says, actors rehearse their roles before the opening of a new play. So, musicians rehearse before their concerts, music and all. Actors rehearse their roles before the opening of a new play. Very good. So, both of them rehearse. On the other hand, I find it strange that many public speakers, who public speakers like politicians and all, think they can just walk on to the stage and start speaking as it comes to their mind. Something like extempore we call it as. And that is what most of our times Indian politicians also do that. On the other hand, I find it strange that many public speakers think they can just walk on to the stage and start speaking. So these are the people who don't rehearse. In my opinion, so author is telling, it is no less important. It is less important. It is no less important. Try to understand both the negative words which means it is important actually. It is no less important for public speakers to rehearse their talks. So author says they also have to rehearse before getting on to the stage and delivering speech. So this is the passage, students. The passage is very clear. So musicians rehearse, actors rehearse, only public speakers don't rehearse, but finally author says they also have to rehearse. So based on the above passage, which one of the following is true? So when we just go through the type of questions, such kind of questions, as I said, this question has been taken from the reading and comprehension, students. Reading comprehension. Let us see what are the steps that we need to follow to crack the answer. The first step always that we have to ask is, students, like, what is the passage about? You have already read it. So ask a small question. What is the passage? What is the passage about? Always you ask this type of questions before going through the options. What is the passage about? Suddenly it will struck your mind one or two words. Sir, it is talking about musicians, it is talking about actors, it is talking about public speakers. So that is, what is the passage about? Sometimes you also need to ask some WH questions. WH questions. What are these WH questions, students? Something like, who involved into that? Where the event has taken place? Why or how? Such questions, if you ask, you will get more details. So what is the passage about? Who involved into that? Musicians, then again public speakers, then the actors. So what is that? They are something about a rehearsal. You find, students, like, so there is, why and how it has not been spoken, not much about that. So when you have already asked about it, you already got the answer. So that is the way that you need to trace the given options, so students. So straight away let us go, and before going through the options, certain elimination techniques we have to learn. What to eliminate from the given options, like elimination. Elimination process, I call it as, or elimination techniques. What is elimination techniques? Generally, students, like, the first thing what we have to see is, any option that is contradicting our argument, we have to eliminate that contradiction. So if we find any contradictions, we can easily eliminate that. And the second one is, students, like, sometimes out of scope. What is out of scope, students? Something which is not mentioned in the argument at all. Something which is not mentioned in the passage at all. We have to consider it as out of scope and eliminate it. So let us go, students, here. Let us see what does the passage say, and let us go. The author is of the opinion, definitely we say, in my opinion, he said. Very good. The author is of the opinion that rehearsal is more important for actors than musicians. So some comparison is going on here. But what does the passage say? Rehearsal is more important for actors than musicians. Did he compare in the argument, students? What he says is that musicians rehearse before their concerts, actors also rehearse. We did not say someone should be given more preference than others. That he did not talk about. So what he is doing here now, some contradiction is going on here now. Or in other words, I call that one also out of scope. So therefore, easily we can eliminate this option. What he says is actors rehearse, musicians also rehearse. But he did not say what we call it as rehearsal is more important for actors than musicians. That he did not speak. I suppose we can easily eliminate. Wonderful, students. That is what I say always. Whenever you go through such kind of questions, ask some WH questions. Come back to elimination process. I think you can easily attempt the options. Right, here we go. Second option. The author is of the opinion, definitely in my opinion, he said, that rehearsing is important. Definitely, he says musicians rehearse, actors rehearse, and it is no less important, again he says, which means it is important for public speakers. So the author is of the opinion that rehearsing is important for musicians, actors, And public speakers, it is no less. It is no less important, which means it is important. No less. Negative plus negative is equal to positive, which means let us wait now. So even public speakers also it is important. So let us wait because we have other options. Let us go through the other options, check and see. The author is of the opinion that rehearsing is less important for public speakers. Did he say less important? So had he not given the word it is less important, then it is okay. But you see here the word there is no, very important. It is no less important, which means it is important. So therefore, the author is of the opinion that rehearsing is less important for public speakers than for musicians and actors. Did he say that? No. Again, it is contradicting the argument, students. He says even they have, it is very important, no less important, which means it is important, students, like now, right? In other words, if you strike off this both the negatives, you will find something like it is important for public speakers, right? Very good. Option D, the author is of the opinion that rehearsing is more important only for musicians than public speakers. Did he compare again? No, he says musicians rehearse, actors rehearse. At the same time, what he has observed is that these people are not rehearsing it. But what he says, it is also important for them. It is no less important. So the author is of the opinion that rehearsing is more important only. No, he did not say. The word only has to be taken into consideration only for musicians than public speakers. No, students. He did not speak anything about that. So you see here something contradicting and there at the same time out of scope. So some comparison is going on. Author did not make any comparison. So this also we can easily eliminate. So again you read once again, students, it is of 2 marks. Do you think it is difficult? It's very easy, students. So the author is of the opinion that rehearsing is important for musicians because musicians rehearse, actors rehearse. In my opinion, it is no less, which means public speakers also it is important, students. This is absolutely the right option and that is true to the given argument, that is true to the passage, students. I suppose all of you might have attempted this question and you might have checked it, and if it is synthesizing with my answer, definitely you will cut a very good figure in this question, students' life. Thank you and I wish you all the best.